Hi everybody, welcome to another book talk video. As promised, I have a more relaxing read for you, a little something different. This is one of the books that I mentioned in my Finally Fall book tag. It's John O'Donohue's To Bless the Space Between Us. This is not a book that you have to read chapter by chapter. It doesn't actually have chapters. It is divided up into sections, but it's one of those books that you can simply pick up, flip to a random page, and read as much or as little as you want. It's a book of blessings. I did compare it to a book of poetry because the way that he writes is very poetic. It's Celtic style blessing, so of course it's going to be very poetic. Look at all the bookmarks I got in there. Unfortunately, I can't read a bunch of excerpts from it. I wish I could, but it is still under copyright. This was published in 2008. He has written several other books. There are 2, 4, 5 listed in one of the front pages. I've never heard of this author before. I picked this book up on a whim, which is unusual. I don't usually buy books on a whim. But a year ago, not last St. Patrick's Day, but the St. Patrick's Day before that, I was at Barnes & Noble and this particular book stood out to me. I wasn't exactly sure why, so I decided to get it, and I'm glad I did. It's a very relaxing book, and I thought, considering everything going on in the world, we need a little something that's more relaxing. So this book is divided up into sections. I'll read you the titles of the sections. Beginnings, desires, thresholds, homecomings, states of heart, callings, and beyond endings. And I have quite a few different favorites in here that I enjoy. I think that I found this book to be very calming, very relaxing. You know, not every book necessarily has to be a big, epic story. I think that it's a good idea to have some balance on the bookshelves. So that's one of the reasons why I got this and decided to keep it. So he has, I'll give you an example of some of the blessings. He has a blessing for a new home, for a new position, for love in a time of conflict, to help you remember what's important. Also, he makes mention of the fact, let me find, in the introduction, he mentions that he ordered the book to follow the sequence of rhythms in human life, hence the different titles of the sections. And because they're blessings as opposed to poetry, usually they're really invocations for God's blessings in your life. He decided not to include constant repetitions of the word God, only because it would be too repetitive, because every second or third line you'd have the same word repeated over and over and over again. But also because he felt that in his words, I will read this little bit, he felt the word God was too huge to allow any other word to breathe beside it. But he does indicate that these are exclusively more like, this is my terminology, prayers asking for God's blessings, because that's what a blessing is supposed to be. And so you're invoking, paraphrasing what he's saying, you're invoking, calling forth the blessing. And that's the reason why the word may is used, as opposed to just saying, this is what I hope, this is what I want. the word may is used, as opposed to let this happen or bring this in. Just may this happen, may this be brought in, may you be protected from such and such a thing, may you be guided in your life's work. He also has blessings to be used at the threshold of womanhood, the threshold of manhood, for the parents of one who has committed a crime. So there's a lot of variety in here to learn from animals, on passing a graveyard, coming home to yourself, before sleep. And you can see anything can be a bookmark, you know. Real readers know anything can be a bookmark. Somebody posted that one time. I got receipts in here and pieces of receipts, whole 9 yards. For an addict, for solitude, for marriage, an elemental blessing for a new home, for equilibrium, for someone who did you wrong. Let's see. After a destructive encounter, for a leader. So there's a wide variety of topics that he touches on. And sometimes I think, you know, just like poetry, a book like this can, you know, sometimes if you're going through a tough spot, or even if you're not going through a tough spot, maybe you're just trying to heal from something, or maybe you're anxious about what's going on in the world, aren't we all? Sometimes it's nice to find someone who can, in this case more metaphorically, voice some of the things that you're feeling. And even though I wasn't particularly anxious when I was reading this book, I found it very relaxing. I decided to read this for the first time, cover to cover for the very first time, just this past week, and I was surprised at how quickly I went through it. I was just devouring it up, and I wanted to, if I was able to post excerpts of some of these blessings, I definitely would, because I do enjoy them. But I think it's really good to have something that you don't necessarily feel that you have to be 100% committed to completing. Most of the time when I pick this book up, I don't read it cover to cover. I've only done it once, and that was last week. And I've had it for more than a year now. When I pick this up, I usually just flip to a random page, or I go to a particular section and read what's there. Whatever suits my fancy, whatever mood I'm in. I definitely think that I'm going to look into his book of poetry, and I think I'm going to look into some of his other writing as well. This is available, I'm not sure that I said this before, it is available on thrift books, at least at the moment. I made a point of looking to see if I could find it secondhand on thrift books, or even new. Sometimes they will have new books listed that haven't been read yet at all, or somebody who's selling a book. It may be brand new, but you're actually getting it from an individual who purchased it at a bookstore, and maybe they're downsizing because they have to move, so they list it on thrift books. But you can get this. I paid well, actually I would have paid less than $25 for it at Barnes & Noble. But at this time, and I will post the link to thrift books below if you decide to check it out, there were listings for this on that website running anywhere from, I think it was something like $10 maybe, or 8 and change, something like that. Um, let's see what else. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been able to find a large print edition. I think a large print edition might be helpful for some people because even though the blue on cream is nicer on the eyes as opposed to the traditional black on white, the size of the font might be a little troublesome for some. It might still be a little bit of a strain. So my one recommendation to the author and the publisher was that if possible, definitely bring out a large print edition, because my mother, for instance, can't usually read something without glasses unless it's large print. And I know quite a few other people who are the same way. But I do like the fact that they went with blue on cream as well as gold on cream. There are a few gold accents on the page as opposed to black on white. I think that would have been a lot harder on the eyes. So that's about it for this book. It's definitely one that I'm going to be keeping. Definitely one that I recommend. And definitely one that I'll be picking up multiple times throughout. Well, I picked it up multiple times throughout this year, and I think that's probably going to continue into next year. So I hope you're all having a really good day. If you can find this at your local library, or if you are near a bookstore and you can check to see if they have a copy, I would go ahead, see if they have a copy, pick it up, flip through it. Since I can't read excerpts on here without violating copyright, and of course, I certainly don't want to do that, especially as a writer myself. I wouldn't appreciate it if somebody did that to my work. I can post my own stuff on here, and I do, but I prefer to encourage people to, use the library. Definitely buy new, because you want the author to, get their fair share of the profits of their hard work. But I also like to encourage buying secondhand and supporting small businesses and things like that. So like I said in a previous video, I'm not familiar with very many secondhand bookshops. I don't have any in the area that I live in currently. I have thrift shops, but usually I can't find anything in terms of reading material that I would want. So thrift books is the only place that I know of that I have ordered from them twice before. I did a haul video last week. Yeah, last week. And of course, this is not sponsored, but they are the only place right now that I can recommend. But if you have a place where, unfortunately, I can't travel to just look at bookshops, I wish I could. That would be a dream. That would be a dream. But if you have a place online, or even if you want to mention local shops in your area, wherever you live in the world, I enjoy hearing about different bookshops and small businesses, people who support independent authors or authors who are less known, as well as making sure people don't forget about the classics. And I'm sure that I'll be featuring more classics in the book talk videos at some point. There are a couple up here, up here, over there, everywhere. That's a reader's life. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy reading. Bye.